people said campaigns need to reflect progressive values. No, they don't. No, they don't. We have no legislative power. We have no executive power. We have no judicial power. We told you this identity was disaster. We told you to get out in front of public safety issues. You didn't. We told you to have an open process. You didn't. We told you to differentiate yourself from Biden. You didn't. I hate to be some know-it-all, but all of these things are part of the record. Remember the famous View question, what would you do different than Biden? He said, well, I can't think of anything. That might have been the worst answer I've heard by a presidential candidate in a long time. Anybody in the West that pays attention to the far left has lived to regret it. These people have never been right about a single thing.
What's going on, guys? The Raging Cajun. James Carville, the ancient fossil Democrat, okay, who seems like rather than 5.5 feet in the grave like Sleepy Joe Biden is maybe about 5 feet in the grave. So, you know, he got a whole decent foot left before he finally steps into his inevitable doom and meets his maker. So this guy is chopping it up with Piers Morgan. I don't think that they've ever linked up before. And effectively, he's completely going off on the radical left. Now, he is a Democrat shill and propagandist himself, but he denies being a far leftist, a progressive, aka a lunatic, and I'm loving them eating each other. So without further ado, let's go ahead and react to this.
It's like if the country wants something different, tell them you're going to give them something different.
Absolutely.
And people say, well, she's a very loyal person. I agree. Loyal to who?
Right.
If you're loyal to Biden, are you loyal?
Is she loyal to herself? I think that much is pretty obvious.
To the party? Are you loyal to the voters? Are you loyal? I mean, when you say someone is loyal, okay, who are you loyal to? For what reason? And, you know.
She's loyal to the Democrats because they put her in power. She's loyal to Joe Biden because he made her the DEI hire. And she's not loyal to the voters because, I mean, technically they elected Joe Biden. They wasn't really trying to elect Kamala Harris. She was just along for the ride. So Kamala Harris doesn't care about the voters at all. As a matter of fact, all she did was just sit up there and lie to them in every single conversation that she ever had.
It's in the title. There's a lot of Democrats. I can't believe these people exist, but I can assure you they do. They would rather lose on principle than have to compromise and win an election. And there's a word for these people. It is idiotic.
I mean, I think it's interesting. I've seen.
Yeah, it was taken over by a bunch of progressive lunatics. So, of course, they don't know what it takes to win. Remember that whole, oh, we don't want to do Joe Rogan because he's a right-wing shill. He's MAGA now. And then turns out they ended up regretting it after they got spanked in the election.
If I were running a 2028 campaign and I had some little snot-nosed 23-year-old saying, I'm going to resign if you don't do this, not only would I fire that motherfucker on the spot, I would find out who hired them and fire that person on the spot. I'm really not interested in your uninformed, stupid, jackass opinion as to whether you go on Joe Rogan or not.
And the woke stuff. And I keep saying, I think it matters more than you think, that when Trump positioned himself as the voice of common sense, and you had a party led by Joe Biden and Kamala, who both thought it's fine for biological men to compete in women's sport, for example.
wait, why he look like that? Like he's deep in thought. They already proved it with data that this shifted things almost 3 points.
Such a clear trend among the American public. So transgender female athletes in women's sports, only 18% of the country says that they should be, in fact, allowed to participate in women's sports. Compare this to the opposition. I mean, my goodness gracious, 79%. You rarely get 79% of the country to agree on anything, but they do, in fact, agree on the idea of opposing transgender female athletes in women's sports.
That was more powerful than people realized in the third tier of why they voted. Economy 1, immigration 2, woke mind virus 3.
In terms of the border, all of that is because Biden listened to the idiotic far left. Every person in history that has listened, not just to the far left in the United States, but anybody in the West that pays attention to the far left has lived to regret it. These people have never been right about a single thing.
Yeah, just ask Anna Kasparian. After getting mugged, Anna Kasparian, man, she was like this. She put on that damn MAGA hat so fast. Like, I'm sorry you went through that, Anna, like, on the real. You know, if she ever happens to watch this, I'm definitely not making fun of her in terms of the mugging, but I am making fun of the fact that the leftist propaganda and the leftist point of views, it's like until it hits them personally and hurts them, it's like they don't get it. Other people were getting mugged. So other people had all kinds of bad stuff happen to them because of far leftist policies. But when she personally was hurt, then all of a sudden, oh, I get it now. It's like I kind of low key can't stand people like that. But you know, she was young and dumb. I was once there too. I was never like a far leftist, but I was more to the left. So I'm trying to show some grace.
Absolutely.
Nothing.
You're completely right.
And they keep running their mouths. And the only thing progressive ever successfully killed is progress.
Right.
That's it.
Which is very ironic.
Signature achievement.
Your views are echoed by Bill Maher. I would position myself, actually, historically, with my own political views, pretty similar to you guys. Joe Rogan was certainly in that camp. Elon Musk was in that camp. Tulsi Gabbard, RFK. I mean,
Well, you know, the far left lost them, and it's because Tulsi Gabbard tried to go up against Hillary, so they pretty much blackballed her out of the party, pretty much bullied her. RFK Jr. tried to go up against Biden. Same thing happened. Elon Musk disagreed with them on like the trans issue, so they pretty much tossed him to the side. Joe Rogan is a normal leftist who still has normal leftist views. Like he agrees with increasing minimum wage and all, you know, all this type of like leftist type of stuff, government programs. But he's not down with the open border stuff and lying about the economy and, you know, just really stupid stuff like that. So they lose people on these issues where they try to lie and gaslight. And it's really like the far leftist stuff. The far leftism is causing them to lose everything. So for anybody who's like, oh, we need to go further to the left, these people were usually the delusional people who thought Kamala Harris was going to win to begin with. One of the reasons she lost, on top of all the other reasons she lost, was because people recognize her as a far leftist. And that's how her career has been. That's how she conducted herself as vice president. And that's how she was going to continue to be. And you see what far leftism gets you. Bad results. And then when the results are bad, just lie and gaslight about it constantly and never admit to people the truth. Lie to their face, spit on their face, call them racist Nazis, Hitler, say you're going to Nazi rallies, call them white supremacists, call them racist, call them misogynistic, every name in the book for not going along with your radical failing agenda, and people aren't having it.
and it seemed to me that the Democrats, as they moved far left and into this more so-called progressive world, they lost a lot of people who thought this lacked any common sense.
It's just idiotic.
Yeah.
Okay, there's no, that's just a very loud part of the party that really came to rise a little bit more after the murder of George Floyd.
Yeah.
And they thought that had given them license to be stupid.
Not only was Kamala Harris one of the most unpopular vice presidents in the history of vice presidents, she also was closely associated with the Biden administration, which people did not like, the way that the economy went, the way the border was open, all the trans people in the women's sports, transgender story time or drag story times and trans kids stuff. People don't like all of this weirdo stuff, the Afghanistan withdrawal, and to say that she was going to continue to repeat the same thing really was a turnoff for people. If they really wanted to win, they should have tried to separate themselves completely from Joe Biden and the Biden agenda and said that we didn't like it. We just couldn't say anything at the time. I hope y'all understand. And a bunch of people, I think, would have supported them more. But trying to just gaslight and say, hey, the economy's not actually that bad. The border is not even open. Well, okay, maybe it is, but it's Donald Trump's fault, even though he's not the president. These were the stupidest talking points and the dumbest strategies that I think I've ever seen in any presidential candidacy in the history of my life. I've never seen anything so stupid. And the fact that they even got as close as they did is stunning. It's shocking. And it not only makes me question the politicians for trying these stupid strategies, and being somewhat successful, it kind of unfortunately does make me question the intelligence of a lot of the people who did not see it, considering there's so much alternative media and information out here for them to understand the truth, whereas that did not exist before, and now it does. At a certain point, it's like, at what point do you blame the people doing the brainwashing versus the people who are just lining up to drink the Kool-Aid? I don't know, guys. Let me know what you think about that. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I appreciate you watching the Black Anomaly. Rise up, I'm out.
There's something really politically stupid about them. Okay, that charge I'll make with great confidence. I mean, this was a political stupidity on a level that's self-inflicted.